On June 28, 1914, a shot rang out in Sarajevo, Bosnia, a shot that was heard around the world. It was the assassination of Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand. In the context of growing tensions among European powers at the turn of the 20th century, this event proved to be the trigger cause of World War I. In response to the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, the Austro-Hungarian government issued an ultimatum to the Serbian Foreign Ministry. Indeed, it had been Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb, who assassinated the Austrian Archduke, and Vienna suspected that the Serbian government had been involved. Namely, Vienna blamed Serbia for not taking action to suppress nationalist groups that sought to weaken the dual monarchy. They also suspected that Serbian officials had provided the terrorists with weapons to assassinate Franz Ferdinand. Therefore, Austria sought to punish Serbia. It is important to note that assassinations of important political figures had occurred many times in the years leading up to World War I. Regarding the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, though, Austria-Hungary was looking for any justification to attack and weaken Serbia, as well as crush nationalistic movements within their multi-ethnic empire, and now they had the perfect excuse. Also, Austria-Hungary felt that its reputation as a great power would be tarnished if it did not take harsh action against Serbia. Following the Archduke's assassination was a period known as the July Crisis, in which diplomatic tensions eventually rose to a level in which war in Europe was inevitable. In some way or another, Austria-Hungary, Germany, Russia, France, and Britain were willing to wage war to progress their interests. Britain, though, expressed the largest outcry at Austria-Hungary's harsh ultimatum. British diplomats made the most attempts to ease tensions throughout July. Britain expected Austria to react harshly to the assassination. Still, they acknowledged the precarious system of alliances that threatened to bring the great powers of Europe into a war. Britain further worried that they might be drawn into a larger European conflict, or that Germany would use this tense moment to expand their own growing empire. In addition, the British ambassador in St. Petersburg encouraged Russia to not react aggressively to Austrian provocations against Serbia, and they encouraged Germany to back down too. Unfortunately for Britain, Germany delivered the infamous blank check, which declared Germany's commitment to Austria no matter what action Austria chose to take against Serbia. Indeed, many German politicians and military officials also sought to use this opportunity to crush their rivals, Russia and France. Germany had previously developed the Schlieffen Plan in case of war with their neighbors, Russia and France, and they were ready to use it. With German backing, Austria felt more confident to wage a war with Serbia. The Austro-Hungarian government drafted a 10-point ultimatum and delivered it to Serbia on July 23rd in response to Franz Ferdinand's assassination. With this ultimatum, Austria sought to place the blame on Serbia if war broke out, for Belgrade now had the opportunity to accept the terms and avoid war. Austria justified their harsh ultimatum by explaining that the Serbian government had pursued policies intended to weaken Austria-Hungary and fuel Serbian nationalism within the empire. The ultimatum contained intentionally harsh terms to increase the likelihood of Serbia's rejection of the document. Vienna hoped that if Serbia refused the ultimatum, they would have an excuse to wage war against Serbia to crush Serbian nationalism in the empire and in the Balkans. Initially, the Hungarian prime minister within the dual monarchy opposed Austrian motives for war. The Hungarian prime minister wanted to instead focus on internal issues and feared military defeat against Russia or Romania if they decided to join the war. By mid-July, though, the Hungarian minister changed his view in favor of war. In fact, citizens in both the Austrian and Hungarian parts of the empire protested in favor of war against Serbia. According to the terms of the ultimatum, Serbia should pursue the following actions, summarized as follows. 1. Suppress any publication which incites hatred and contempt towards the Austro-Hungarian monarchy. 2. Suppress Serbian nationalist organizations that oppose Austria-Hungary. 3. Eliminate anti-Austro-Hungarian propaganda within Serbian schools. 4. remove all officers within the Serbian military guilty of participating in propaganda against Austria-Hungary. 5. Allow representatives of the Austro-Hungarian government to suppress movements in Serbia that oppose Austria-Hungary. 6. Bring to trial all those suspected of involvement in the Franz Ferdinand assassination plot and allow Austro-Hungarian officials to partake in the investigation. 7. Arrest Vojislav Tankosic and Milan Ciganovic, who are suspected to have partaken in the assassination plot. 8. Prevent Serbian authorities from smuggling illegal weapons into Austria-Hungary and punish all of those who have previously smuggled weapons. 9. Explain Serbian officials who have proven to be in opposition to Austria-Hungary. 10. Notify the Austro-Hungarian government of the measures taken by Serbia regarding the previously mentioned points. In addition, Austria-Hungary demanded that the Serbian government admit responsibility and fault for the incident. Austria-Hungary provided only 48 hours for Serbia to reply, expecting a response by the evening of July 25th. With such a limited timetable, Austria expected Serbia to reject the terms. Then, Austria hoped to rapidly invade Serbia before Russia, an ally of Serbia, could intervene. Austria and Germany wagered that Russia would decide to remain neutral due to their own internal issues. Indeed, Russia had previously experienced internal turmoil during the 1905 revolution and had also backed down during the previous Bosnian crisis of 1910. Therefore, Russia had set the precedent that they might not intervene on Serbia's behalf in this incident. Upon receiving word of Austria-Hungary's ultimatum, Russia and Britain expressed discontent and urged Vienna to extend the 48-hour deadline to allow more time for diplomacy and to hope to avoid war. Russia suggested to Austria that they would defend Serbia if war did break out, but Austria's confidence was unshaken due to German support. Consequently, Austria-Hungary refused to extend the deadline. Russia disliked the possibility of Germany and Austria-Hungary expanding their influence over the Balkans, so they mobilized part of their army in the western part of the country in preparation for war. Austria's refusal to extend the ultimatum deadline or engage in meaningful diplomatic activity indicated their intention to wage war. Ultimately, Serbian officials considered Austria-Hungary's demands to be encroaching on their sovereignty, and they suspected that Vienna would make further unfavorable demands even if this initial ultimatum was accepted. The most unacceptable clause was the one that would have allowed Austro-Hungarian delegates to partake in the investigation of the conspirators on Serbia's own territory. With Serbia's rejection of the ultimatum, Austria-Hungary declared war on July 28, 1914. What followed was a rapid mobilization of armies across Europe and declarations of war back and forth between major powers, partly due to the entangled alliance system. Even if war had somehow been avoided in the aftermath of Franz Ferdinand's assassination, another shocking event would have likely sparked a conflict. In other words, it was only a matter of time until Europe waged war, and Austria's ultimatum illustrated their intention to fight. Ironically, in Austria's attempt to wage war with Serbia, they contributed to the outbreak of a world war that ultimately did not result in the collapse of Serbia, but rather the destruction of their own Austro-Hungarian Empire.